Greetings, folks, friends, foes, and all good people, all great people. It is The Bottom Line. Welcome to another episode. Mike Carlucci here from Carlucci Broadcast International and the CBI, Carlucci Broadcast International Studios. And with me, once again, the great one, Richard Boddie, man of many trails and many roads, many hills and many mountains as well. So we're here to chat with you. And me and Richard are going to but we'll try to unleash the tanglement as we tackle the situation with Donald J. Trump and the ongoing proceedings with impeachment. And we heard today, Richard, that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said for the Democrats to get the drafts ready and let's approach this and let's push this impeachment fully. So I'm going to give you the ball to bounce and take the ball on the court and roll with it and give me your take.
I have to smile because now they're saying it's probably going to take into the new year. And that's a little bit dangerous for any politician at that level who's fighting this game because it's getting close to November.
Yeah.
And primaries are
for next year.
Within 2 months or so.
The door could be closing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So even if they rush through, no matter how the Democrats play this, and once again, anybody watching, I think Trump is the worst president to ever serve in office, while others think he's the greatest.
Well, I think they think he's great due to the fact because of how the economy's doing and the stock markets are up, jobs are created. So he's definitely done super with that. Yeah. But let's put that over there in the corner, and then, as you said, repeating what you said.
What a bad person, and he disgraces the presidency just in how you should act when you're a president.
Yeah. Well, it's a circus to him. So.
But the Democrats will probably impeach, and it will go to the Senate, and the Senate will not confirm.
They won't. They won't hit the vote. Yeah.
No, the Republicans aren't budging because you got brain dead Republicans who refuse to look at Trump for what he is. Because party is more important than anything else.
Sure.
That's why I'm neither left nor right.
Stronghold, yes. Which we'll be talking about a little bit about the middle, the Libertarian Party, just a bit. So, mofo, what is quid pro or whatever it's called?
Okay.
Was it quo?
Quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. Quo.
Well, there it is. It's a Latin term for...
Let's explain it to our audience. What exactly
basically it says, if I ask you to do something, and you do it, that's the quid pro quo.
That sets it up, of course,
right. It's almost like consideration in a contract. Offer, acceptance, and consideration is that, well, what did you give me other than the fact that you winked or something? Yeah. You gave me $1. Or you said, okay, I'll do the job.
It's almost like payola in radio and television back in the old days. Like, here, play this song, and here's $20 or something.
Yeah, but quid pro quo in law or consideration in contract basically says the deal is consummated. By this action. Sure. I want you to paint my house. You say, okay. And you get the ladder and you go up and paint it. Right. It's a unilateral contract. It's not the kind that says you wrote this here and wrote that there, but your action of painting says it's completed. That's the quid pro quo. Yeah. You did what I wanted you to do. Yeah. Well, in effect.
But there's got to be a payoff at the end, though.
Yes. And it seems to me that the payoff, the Republicans' argument was that there was no payoff.
There was,
So that all of that is premature. It hasn't consummated yet. So what the Democrats would do if they're watching this and they're smart, they'll switch to the abuse of power as a president as your reason for impeachment.
Right.
Not the need for, not the stuff you were doing and didn't get the deal done and all of that, and that they didn't investigate Biden or whether they did or where they're going, or Rudy was picked to go. Giuliani is sitting there looking a jerk the whole bit. Happy to say he's never liked him. Anyway. Yeah. So bottom line is they're going to have to switch the articles of impeachment that they're going to file to abuse of power.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to get off the rails here for a second because I always thought old-time politics, which kind of invented, or I should say, which kind of evaluated politicians to be crooks. So old-time politicians many decades ago. Wasn't that the whole thing? The whole idea is to go behind everyone's back and try to dig up dirt and juice on people.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Regardless of in the country or outside of the country,
Yes.
a foreign
Yes.
ally, even an adversary.
Yeah.
That was always. I always thought I took taking history classes, many decades ago. But now you can't. Yeah, but that's it. You can't do that. They don't want that.
They don't want that, but they're doing it. The
Yeah.
whole nature.
Don't get caught. Yeah, right.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
nature of the animal is that my group is better than yours, and we're going to protect our group once we get power.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, power is all we're looking for. So whatever you call it, how you call it, whatever you call us,
Mm-hmm.
it's we're in power now, and we didn't have to shoot and kill anybody out front. Clinton's it's questionable, but we didn't have to kill anybody to do this, like most countries, most systems. But it's truly about power, which corrupts. If there's no, the framers of our Constitution understood checks and balances, which really in effect say, I can check out what you're doing and I can expose that, and I have a document here that's the basis of our legal system, our Constitution. It says you can't do that, and I caught you. The problem now is that both sides are so far apart, and that's really why I wore my shirt today. Not left, not right.
Is that an L?
That's a
for libertarian.
well, it looks like
not loser,
yeah,
libertarian.
right,
Yeah, so there you go.
So,
but so
it'll be a deadline.
Yeah. So, but here's the key. So the door doesn't close. I got to get this thing done before Christmas, correct? If
I'd
don't,
say
if it goes into January, then it might be a problem.
It might be
regardless of the vote,
exactly.
matters in Congress. Okay.
Exactly.
Or the Senate. Okay, cool. So, we'll see what happens. Each, I mean, I've been traveling so much. That's why we haven't had the bottom line for a while. But getting back, I haven't got a chance really. I've been starting to catch up on the impeachment hearings and proceedings and all the witnesses are bringing in. I finally watched quite a bit yesterday, actually, but it is crazy. It's just mind-boggling. It's like the stuff they're flinging at each other.
Yes.
Flinging at each other is amazing. So anyway, more to come, obviously, and this thing is still not going to be close to being over. But
it'll be a deadlock because there's no way, unless we get a few more Justin Amashes who have Carlucci, the Republicans say, okay, enough is enough. We found information on Donald that is so bad, it's so outrageous. He was a friend of Weinstein or Weinberg or the guy named Hugginsoff or whatever. Unless that happens, it's going to go into a deadlock. But if that happens, you're going to see a lot, like with Nixon, you're going to see a whole bunch of people just drop it, saying, okay, that's it. We'll not only go to impeach, we'll kick his butt out because he's dangerous. That's why he's holding on so tightly to his tax returns.
Yeah, that's been still kind of been shoved under the rug and brought up on occasion. But when it is brought up, there's always something that defers it away from bringing
basically
up those tax returns.
Basically, the law says you can't get anybody's tax returns if you're third party. The IRS and you, that's it.
That's it, right. So important. Yeah, they're looking for everything to get him, regardless. But let me ask you this. Well, first off, his opponent he ran in 2016, Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Rodham.
Is it Rodham or Rodham?
Rodham is how they say it.
I always hear like Dennis Rodman, but I said, no, that's it. It's got to be, it's Rodham, so it's Rodham. Rodham, yeah. Right. Anyway, Hillary, lovely Hillary, I guess she was doing an interview on, I think it was the Howard Stern show, and someone said on social media that she did a fantastic job in the interview, and then there were some people praising. I won't mention the person on Facebook. He's a very well-respected sportscaster, but he was all like gaga, goo goo gaga on Hillary, saying she would have been a great president. She's a great person, and I love this sportscaster because he's got some good points, and especially about Donald Trump and others. But I have to disagree because I don't know her personally. I mean, she is a politician. Most politicians are articulate and do great interviews and fantastic verbiage and the whole thing. And now that the pressure's off, I mean, she can just let it all hang out. And Howard Stern brings out the best or the worst of his guests. But here's the deal: I had to disagree with him. I didn't say anything on social media about it, but I have some people that work in government and are former Secret Service agents, and the stories they told me about her
unbelievable.
They are so bad, and people just don't know because those things are hidden and secret. And I can't say the details, but the things I heard almost fall off the floor.
Just a word.
Chin dropped, and she was 10 times worse than her husband. And look how bad he was. But for someone to say that she would have been a great president, she's not a good person. Some people, I don't know because I don't know her personally, but some people she's actually psychotic. Yeah. And we have the president of the White House now. Most people say he is psychotic because he's a circus performer.
There we go.
Yeah, but but I'm taking this now, getting back on the track. I want to take it to a different road because now the Democratic nominees are getting set for another debate, and I believe it's happening very soon. It's actually going to be in Southern California over at the Loyola Marymount University, I believe, unless I'm not wrong. But they have 6 committed, with 3 or 4 still pending that have been in previous debates. Kamala Harris has dropped out.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too.
Yeah, we can go right to that right now. But yeah, so we'll talk about who's left and who's not, and who's veering in the right direction, who's not. But give me your take on Kamala, besides not having enough money to keep her support.
She has enough money.
Does she have? Okay.
Yes. Here's one of the things.
Does she have some for me? No.
If you approach her,
Kamala, right?
Her sister, you got to talk to her sister because her sister runs the show.
That's right, of course.
Here's something most people who are listening, watching, whatever, right now have no idea. Having run for U.S. Senate myself and for United States presidential nomination, I had to file with the Federal Election Commission, which in effect says you can't do these things, you can do these things, take no cash, must report just like your small business every quarter, etc. One of the rules is that all the money you get, if it's not used on this campaign that you are getting this money for right now, you can't spend it personally, but you can set up a foundation or you can use it in another federal campaign.
Oh, she has like a savings account for something else. Something in the future.
$4 million in her hands.
In her hands, okay.
From contributions to run for U.S. Senate again. Having done very little since she's been there except run for president.
It's a savings account.
She's got $10 million plus that she can use for her campaign reelection.
Yeah. So this thing about dropping out has other reasons. I think because there's been stuff she's been tied to similar to Hillary. Some crooked stuff. So
her problem is that she tried to become a progressive after being a hardline prosecutor. That's hard to do in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
And all of those switches and everything else, and she was given presidential powers that don't exist in the Constitution. When I'm president, I'll do X, Y, and Z. Well, all of those X, Y, and Z, president has no power to do it. You're saying if this person is saying this, how bright can she really be, or does she think the masses are this dumb? But let's go to other candidates. So people say, why are there so many people running in a Democratic ticket? Because the same FEC rules apply. And they're all in politics. And they're all at federal positions except Buttigieg.
Buttigieg?
Yes.
Buttigieg.
Now, he would be the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
And probably, of all of them, he's one of the best guys running.
Right.
He's
very good. He's very good.
If he and Biden were the ticket, they could beat Trump.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Biden and Buttigieg.
Yes.
That's a good ticket.
Yes.
It really is.
If those two.
That's how you pronounce it, right? Buttigieg?
Yes.
Buttigieg, okay.
But if they do what they generally do, they grab victory up they grab defeat from the mouth of victory, and bam, you have it again. Yeah. And you'll have crazy orange-haired
circus man.
Yeah. As
circus
the
performer.
guy again. Yeah. But they're all in it for the FEC money.
Before we continue, we do have a new sponsor, by the way. Oh, and by the way, you see right here, the lovely Tina Turner just had her 80th birthday. Yeah.
She's a year younger than me.
Yeah. Oh, don't give away. You look great. She looks great, too. The big 80 is like being like 50, right?
No, it's the black people. We don't wrinkle. I say black don't crack.
I'm glad you said that. If I say that, I get in trouble. You heard about the Sportscaster, which we'll talk about at a different show. Yeah. By the way, new sponsor, our good friends from Cholula. Cholula hot sauce. Say that 3 times after a couple of tacos and beers. Cholula. We appreciate you sponsoring this episode of The Bottom Line. And welcome back. Here we are. Let's see what else. Let's continue on about happy birthday, Tina Turner, by the way. Right there. Turning 80. But so let's talk about the remaining Democratic nominees, possible nominees. There's 6 committed. It's Elizabeth Warren, your buddy Joe Biden, I think Andrew Yang is still in the mix.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you got the gosh, I'm drawing a blank on some things. But
the Congress lady,
Gubbard or whatever.
From Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. But then there's a gal from Hawaii. Yeah, she's still.
Oh, she's
a gal from Hawaii, like a personal friend of hers. Yeah, that gal from Hawaii.
She's the one that's causing him a lot of trouble.
Yeah. She's the one that's been fighting with Hillary.
The one who says basically the United States.
Elizabeth Warren as well
is involved in wars it shouldn't be involved with. She says this as a veteran.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard.
She's good looking, and she has
beautiful woman. Yeah.
Some things that we agree with.
Yeah.
Just as there's some things we agree
She's
with
more of a libertarianish kind of.
You got it.
Some of which we'll talk about in a second. But so we got 6. I think I named 4 or 5. I can't remember the 6th one, but I know I know the faces. I'm great with faces, horrible with names half the time. But and I'm in the names business. Figure that one out. Right? So nonetheless, 6 committed for the upcoming debate, and then there's 2 or 3 still pending. And of course, Kamala Harris just dropped out.
And Bloomberg going to be in there.
Oh yeah, Bloomberg. I want to ask you about that. So Bloomberg, he fancies himself. He's kind of a different version of Donald Trump when it comes to billionaire and money and coming from money and stuff like that. What's your take on that?
My take on that Bloomberg is that the people in the Democratic National Committee who were running the show and sailing that ship were looking at Bernie and AOC and others who were pulling the party to Marxism, basically, knowing that the masses, as slow as they are, aren't going to buy it. So Bloomberg shows up and starts to pull them back toward the center. So he's talking, just like the black guy who was the governor of Massachusetts. Both of them are pulling it back, the whole party back toward the middle, as opposed to the progressive side, which is fatal. It's fatal. Even
fatal left.
It might happen in the next generation. This whole thing will go down the tubes if it's a great progressive society. It'll end up looking like Venezuela and North Korea and everything else. But as for now, I think they let Bloomberg come into it because he can pay for his own ads. He can do all that stuff right now.
He's got cash.
He can big cash.
Cash and carry.
Now, Kamala was saying that that's the problem with big billionaires and all that stuff. Bull roar. If there's anybody that could offset Trump, it would be him.
Yeah.
If he were really
the opposite
serious.
of Donald Trump. Oh, by the way, the other candidate nominee possibility, Bernie Sanders. I forgot about him too. He's still in the mix. Oh, looks like that might be Joe Biden right there. So live show, folks. Phone calls. Let's see who that is. Is that Joe Biden? Is that an important call? Is he one of our subscribers? Oh, by the way, speaking of subscribing, please do subscribe to The Bottom Line. And also, if you have any comments and stuff, let us know. Questions, maybe some topics you'd like us to chat about. There you go. I think he's off the phone right there. Right. So moving on. So Bloomberg is in the mix. Bernie Sanders still hanging on there. He seems like he's a little more healthier now, too. So there's a lot of options, and the debate gets more hairier and hairier, and the stuff will be flinging again. So
Joe's still leading, and Joe will still get it.
Percentage, yeah. He's still
I think there are enough Republican people who will vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And some libertarians will vote for Joe Biden.
Which we can transfer now. Let's talk about the Libertarian Party because of your interest and my interest. We'd like to find out there's a good, maybe a small handful of opportunities for some possible nominees and some go-getters in the Libertarian ticket. So we have a handful of people that you suggest and recommend, and give me your take on who do you think might be a good possible opportunity for the Libertarian Party to kick some butt this coming up election for next year.
I thought if he accepted or stepped out would be Justin Amash, the former Republican congressman from Grand Rapids, Michigan, who came out against Trump by saying he should be impeached, and then they just treated him as if he didn't exist. But since then, a good friend of mine who's been a active libertarian for probably 25, 30 years, his name is Jacob Hornberger.
Okay, I'm going to write these down so we can kind of review. Jacob
Hornberger.
Okay, this is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Jacob Hornberger, okay.
And the other would be Amash, I think, would be the only two viable ones.
Okay, Amash, is that his last name or first name?
Justin is his first name.
Justin Amash, okay, good. Okay.
And then there's about 6 other people who we don't know.
But what about the top three? You think Hornberger, Amash,
Hornberger, Amash, and whoever's, I don't know the group.
Do you think, what's his name, will run back, try another roll of the dice?
Oh, no, they ineffective set. You mean Gary Johnson?
Gary Johnson, you think
he said he won't, but you never know.
But you never, okay. We'll just write his name down here, okay.
But for sure, Bill Weld won't, because Weld has come out as a Republican, and he's the one that's challenging Trump
as well
in the primaries.
Okay, so tell me about Hornberger. What have you heard about him?
Good man, one of the greatest speakers in the movement ever, founder of a group called the Future of Freedom Foundation. He's been writing articles worldwide for the past 25, 30 years. Former practicing attorney, really dynamic, who had said for years, since he was going to throw his hat in the ring in 2000, he said, I probably shouldn't do that. I don't know if I had the time, because people wanted him to run that. So from 2000 up to now, he has been doing his thing. So if anybody looks up the Future Freedom Foundation, they can read, see, hear all the things, nicknamed Bumper, that Bumper Hornberger has been doing.
Bumper, okay.
But he's officially come out, and he's officially come out as a candidate, and will be going all over the country from state to state, and of anybody who is truly a libertarian, not an ex-Republican,
true libertarian, whole and whole, from
time immemorial, and knows what a libertarian is. So when they throw darts at him, he knows how to hold off the darts when they ask him the dumb questions, or if they're serious, he can give the answers. So I find that my interest is in peaking now, because Hornberger says he's going to be running, and I'm going to be the introductory speaker to the keynote speaker.
Oh, you said you're going to speak and introduce. Yes. Yeah. So let's talk about Justin Amash. Give me your take on
Amazing
this
guy. From the time Justin got elected to Congress, I think he's in his fourth term now. 2, 4, 6, 8, maybe 10 years. 8 to 10 years he's been at. And he always was a libertarian, but in order to run and win, just like Ron Paul did in Texas for many years, you pick a party and you run. So he picked the Republican Party, he ran, kept his mouth a little bit closed as to what libertarians really believe, got elected, got reelected, and he's a very incredible guy. His mother's from Syria, his father's from Palestine. That's pretty heavy. A lot of people, because he looks Caucasian, don't see him as a Muslim, but he is, who understands the Constitution, who has always called himself a libertarian.
Is he a West Coast guy or East Coast guy?
He's in Michigan.
Oh, so he's
in Michigan.
Midwest.
He's in the middle. He's in the flyover area.
Midwest.
Yeah, he's in the flyover areas, as Hillary and the others would call it. And
the states she forgot about, right? Yeah.
After the Mueller report came out, he read it. One of the few people who read it. Yeah. And he said, I find 4 impeachable offenses.
Right.
Now, where does he get the power to say what's impeachable and what isn't? Well, I probably think that if you're a good lawyer, you can figure that out. Well, he graduated from University of Michigan Law School. I think he was the editor of the law review, number 1 in his class. So I think he'd have the ability to tell you whether there's an impeachable offense.
Sure. Oh, yeah, he knows.
And practice law, too. And his family owns a big plumbing company in Grand Rapids. So he doesn't need politics for the corruption. He is in politics because he said, I think we need to do something differently than we've been doing. Yeah. So I think he and Hornberger, if he decides not to run and just stay in his district, he probably will be defeated as a congressman. That doesn't hurt him because he's not a professional politician. He's not a crook.
Sure.
I'm not a crook.
I'm not a crook.
I'm not really dead. I'm just resting. It's Dick Nixon.
Okay, Truckee Dick. The new Dick. It's short and sweet, and everybody wants to say it. Yes. So here. This is where it goes for Libertarian Party. Possible candidates: Jacob Bumper Hornberger or Justin Amash, 2 good guys. Gary Johnson, not committed yet, but he might just roll the dice once again last minute. Bill Welt, maybe, but maybe not because he's more Republican, you say?
He already announced that he's going to run against Trump.
Oh, so he's going Republican ticket. So overall, let's recap. So if the impeachment goes through, Mike Pence takes over for the remainder of the small amount of months for the 4 years. Pence either runs again with obviously another running mate of unknown name, unknown causes, if you will. We won't know that name until later. And then, of course, against Bill Weld or someone else. And then on the Democratic ticket, you're saying Biden and Buttigieg.
Yes,
most
that's
likely.
my bet.
That's your bet.
Yep.
And then on the Libertarian Party, it'll be either Hornberger, Amash,
yep.
Or Johnson. So there you go. Well, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Of course, you and I will get together and chat about when things get closer, what's going to be happening,
right.
what's trending, if you will, and so forth. So I think we covered a lot. And
I hope the communist Chinese haven't invaded by now.
Yes. Those prices are going up for a lot of those products and goods and services. And I heard wine. We're having issues with wine over in Spain because of the new tariffs and stuff. So, my wife's a little bit ticked off by that. She loves her red wine, and she doesn't have to pay a high price for it. But I guess that's what's going on right now.
And tariffs don't save jobs for people.
No,
here either.
they don't.
They just make possible for wars to occur. And
right.
Donald wasn't listening to Ben Carson, when he told him, don't do that for us. And he did it anyway.
Dr. Ben Carson. Anyway, again, we'd like to thank Cholula for sponsoring this episode of The Bottom Line. We're going to close right now, but we'll have a future episode coming up here. We got a lot of those things we can tangle, which we will do later. Again, we appreciate you tuning in. Please subscribe. Any comments you need to throw at us, make sure you do. And Richard Boddie, always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And we always have a good chat. You're the greatest of all time. Yes, I do. I'd pump out that Muhammad Ali impression of you if I would say that term. Anyway, nonetheless, folks, so by the way, remember to search and dig deep, and you always find the bottom line. You have a great week, super weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you back here on The Bottom Line, brought to you by Carlucci Broadcast International. Richard Boddie, Mike Carlucci. Ciao for now, folks. Be well.